that I would get clothes, good strong boots, and a good big heavy overcoat, which did me at night time as a blanket to keep out the cold. That's where I spent my youth, and that's why that was all preparation for my life here among the manjagos in the bush. I find it so easy to adopt to a simple rural way of living.
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
In Irish Trosan or custom, tradition, every mother that's pregnant wants a child to be a priest or a nun. That is Irish culture. Ask Bishop Cleary, Bishop Ellison, ask anybody. Our parents prayed that the child they were carrying in the womb would be a priest. And from a very, as long as I can remember, that thought was put into my soul by my mother. And when I was very, very young, I remember being taken by my mother to Ireland's national shrine of Our Blessed Lady, the shrine of Our Lady of Knock. And before I went there, she made me write a little note, my wish, to put into the petition box. And my wish was, Mary, please make me a priest. And that stays with me.
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
I was ordained in 1964 by a Holy Ghost Archbishop of Dublin, and after ordination we spent the next 2 years in studies, and then we were sent to the missions, and I arrived here in Gambia. After ordination, we Spiritans, we go to our provincial, our boss man, and he says, he doesn't ask you any questions. He says, Father Sharp, your destination is Gambia. Finish. And then, Father Sharp, will you smoke? I said, yes, Father, I will smoke. Because I'd been smoking since I was about 10 years old. And when I went to the novitiate, we had to stop smoking. I stopped smoking for 10 years. The day I left the seminary as a priest, I bought my cigarettes again. So I smoked for many years in the Gambia. I stopped smoking about 8 years ago.
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
Well, I came out by the Papa, by ship. It was 8 days on sea. And the first shock that the little rural boy like me got was on the ship. When you sat down to dinner, there was about 20 forks and about 20 spoons and all over the place. You didn't know where to begin with the spoons. That's our simple life that we knew. But we got to Banjul anyway, and those days we had to arrive in Sultan on the ship. When you arrived at dock at Banjul, you had to be wearing your Sultan. I was with Father Andy Carroll, may he rest in peace. So I looked down from the ship. I saw everybody below, all smoking cigars. Gambians. I went down. When I went down, when we disembarked, I found they were all chewing sticks, not cigars, chewing sticks. We had a lovely welcome that night at the cathedral house there. When a new priest arrives, all the priests of the Gambia, there were only Holy Ghost fathers here. That time there was 22 of us. They all had to gather for the celebration of the arrival of a new priest and of Father Carroll coming back from holidays. That was my first big shock. We disembarked at 10 o'clock. We had no lunch on the ship. We came to the mission, we sat down with a cup of coffee. Then we waited and waited and waited until all the priests had gathered. It was 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I was starving with the hunger, absolutely starving. 9 o'clock, the last man came and Bishop Maloney came. So the meal started, and that time there was a 5-6 course meal, beautiful. But I didn't know that. So the first course was salad and tomatoes. I filled my stomach with the salad and tomatoes until I could eat nothing more. Then the other courses began to come, and I couldn't eat them. I was so full with salad. That was my first experience in the Gambia. The second was, I got into one of the Geli taxis one day, and the woman alongside me, fine, big, strong African woman, had a baby in her back. She pulled the child around her back and put the child on the breast. And I nearly jumped out the window because we weren't used to looking at women's breasts in Ireland. And it was so funny. That was the first shock I got, okay?
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
My first appointment was 6 months in Banjul, in the house near the cathedral there. I think they sold, what was the name of that house? It was Gardens, we used to call it at that time. It was sold since then. 6 months there with Father Comer, and that was a time when I had to learn the Wolof language. The first 6 months was you had to learn the language. And I was there for 6 months. It was lovely 6 months, but I studied the language very, very hard because you couldn't hear confessions unless you passed an exam. And it was Father Farrell gave me the exam and he passed me. And then he went home to Ireland for 3 months holidays. Then I was appointed to Canafine after that. That was 1966, I'd say, appointed to Canafine as his helper.
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
Well, I did 9-10 years in Canafine. During that time, I used to do hunting at a gun. Out around Tarrinkeel area, your homeland out there, that side there was all flat bush that time. And they're going to be bang, 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 bang all around me, and no bushfall dying. And the people were laughing at me. But anyway, I saw a pig, a few black pigs, and I thought they were wild pigs. I was ready to shoot one. The people, no, that's a pig, a Manjago pig. So somebody said, where you see pigs, then you have Manjagos, then you have pagans, people who follow the local religion, you find them. So that was my first introduction outside of Serekunda, out there, and I went around a lot and I found many, many pigs and many, many Manjagos in the bush. And that brought me to Kunkujang. I did a survey of Kunkujang area. I found 34 little hamlets, villages of Manjagos.
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
One of the most beautiful things I found in coming to the Kunkujang area is the warm welcome I've got everywhere from my Muslim brothers and sisters, especially 30 years with the late Imam of Tujuring, Al-Haji Jaite. Every year that good man gave me a piece of the sacrificial lamb at Tabaski. And every year I gave him a little bottle of spray to make him smell nice for his wives. It was a lovely, lovely relationship. And on a few occasions in Sanyang, I was asked to speak to them at their Tabaski celebrations. They've always been very, very kind to me. I go to Tujuring, they salute me, they welcome me. And when I'm going on holidays in May, the last person I visit in the Gambia is a lovely gentleman, Al-Haji Jata in Tujuring. He's an elderly man. I always go to his house, I greet him, I say, Papa, I'm going home now, I'll be back again. When I come back, my first stop in Gambia is with Al-Haji Jata.
50 years in religious life. 50 years in religious life.
I went to Bishop Maloney. I was parish priest at that time of Canafine. And I went to Bishop Maloney, I said, Bishop, I want to start a new mission in this area, because after doing a survey of the area, I found that Kunkujang was the center of the area. So if I lived in Kunkujang, I wouldn't be too far away from Tarrinkeel, from Bruford, from Ghanatown, from Gunjo this side. This was the middle. He said, Jackie Sharp, he says, no problem, you have my blessing, but you haven't got my money. He said, we have no money in the diocese for new missions. So after helping to build a church in Canafine, I had £10,000 left over. So I used that £10,000 to start building a house in Kunkujang.
Which year was it?
1972, 73. And then the miracle happened then. I was still in Canafine, going in and out, building my house, and one day a tourist lady came to visit me in Kunkujang, or in Canafine. I was down in bed with malaria. I got up, I came out to her. Madam, what do you want? I'm not well. She said, I have £30 left over after my holidays. I don't know what